Hello, everyone. Jacquie Edwards here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I'm having a super wonderful day. We've just got a new bed delivered. So after this, I'm going to take a nice after lunch nap. So anyways, today I wanted to talk about budgeting and basically how much money you need to get started with your rent-to-rent business, because that's a big question that I get asked quite regularly. So as you know, rent-to-rent isn't some crazy no money down, get rich quick scheme. This is an actual business that you're starting. So there are some business startup costs that you need to have. Now, this kind of links today is the perfect timing for this, because if you've been following along my Business Booster free email series, then today and yesterday we've been talking about budgeting. And I think it was today that you were able to download a free copy of my budgeting spreadsheet. So I just wanted to touch on a couple of points that are listed in that spreadsheet that have some of your upfront costs that you're going to need to have. Now, first of all, you need to kind of set up a budget for what money do you have available to get started. So you can do this with many different levels of kind of getting started money. So you do need to have some funds. We'll cover a couple of things that you do have to pay for, and then some other things are discretionary. So first of all, some of the things that you have to have. So one of the first ones is you need to join a redress scheme. So there's either the property redress scheme or the property ombudsman. Those to join are probably, off the top of my head, they're around £200 per year. Now, that's kind of an upfront cost. I highly recommend you do it before you really get started too far. It looks great on your marketing material that you can say you're a member of the redress scheme. And it's just something that you have to do when you're managing property owned by somebody else, which is what you're going to be doing with rent to rent. So you have to register. You might as well do it now and just get the marketing boost from it. You can put it on your website, you can put it on the letters you're sending out, even put it on your business card. It just makes you look more credible, serious, and you're following the rules. So that's about £200. You need to have, I'm just looking at my list of some of the things that we need to have. Property insurance, or I suppose business insurance is the better word for it. So you need to have insurance as a business. Now, this insurance, the cost of it does depend on, what your annual gross revenues are going to be. So that's what the insurance company will say, and that's how they'll price it out for you. I'd say in the first year, you're probably looking at £100 for that insurance. You can pay it monthly, so you don't need to pay it all up front usually. Talk to a good insurance broker. They'll be able to help you figure out what you need for your business. Now, this is basically your public liability insurance for kind of your business as a whole. So it won't be property by property. It's something that, if somebody gets injured as a result of your business, your public liability insurance will pay for it. So it is something that you definitely should have. Pretty much anybody owning any business here in the UK should have a public liability insurance policy. There are other types of insurance that you can look at that your insurance broker can talk you through. But I'd probably say to get started, budget at least £100 kind of for that first year. So we've got 200 for our redress scheme, 100 for our insurance. You need to register with the ICO, so the Information Commissioner's Office. This is all about data protection. Again, it's something you just need to do. So if you're holding data on anybody else, so once you've got tenants, you'll be holding data on them. If you're sending out landlord letters, HMO letters, you've got those landlords' information. If you're just waiting for, people to call you back from, maybe a newspaper ad, you're going to be gathering data on people's phone numbers. So you just should register for data protection with the ICO. This is a cheaper one. This is £35 per year. Again, it's something that you need to do to make sure that you're following the rules. They've got loads and loads of really good information on their website about data protection as well. So it's just a really good resource to have. So this is all in line with GDPR. So they'll have some great GDPR templates and resources for that as well. And it just helps to show that you're serious about keeping people's data private. What else do we need? So insurance, you're going to have a deposit membership. So, good question from David really quick. Would we need an ICO officer? You should recommend somebody. I mean, it doesn't have to be anybody separate from you. So, the ICO officer of your business could be you. in the ICO's website, they'll have loads of information on data protection and kind of all the forms that you should be filling out for your business on GDPR. Most of what GDPR data protection is basically a documentation exercise of how are you as a business storing data, holding data, and making sure it's secure. Awesome. So business insurance, contracts. So having some contracts that you can use. So this is kind of one of your upfront legal fees. I recommend getting contracts ahead of time. Now, not all solicitors are super keen on doing this. They'd rather do it on a property by property basis. And they'll say, oh, every deal is so different that you should, have us look at every one of your contracts. But anyways, you can decide what you want to do. But I recommend getting some contracts ahead of time because this will not only help you because you'll be able to read through the contracts, really understand what this transaction is that you're getting into. And it'll also help your landlords because one of the things that I do is I would give a copy of my draft contract to all the landlords when I first met them so that it was part of my marketing pack. It was just something that they could take away to read. It answers lots and lots of their questions as well and just makes them feel comfortable. So I'd say for contracts, you're looking anywhere between, mine are about 200 pounds on my website, up to, if you're going to a solicitor for bespoke contracts, you could be looking at kind of 500 to 1,000 pounds for a contract. So it's kind of whatever range you want to look at. There are probably some cheaper out there. You could always grab some from Joe on Facebook, but like I like to say, you should get your contracts kind of professionally done because if anything goes wrong down the road, Joe on Facebook, he's not really going to help you out. Whereas if you've used a solicitor, you'll be able to kind of go back to them for any help. All right, so contracts, deposit membership. So if you're planning on taking tenant deposits, you will need to join a tenancy deposit membership. So there's 3 options. There's TDS, My Deposits, and one other one that I can't think of off the top of my head. Depending on how you want to kind of store your deposits, whether you want to keep them in your bank account or whether you want to send them to the deposit company, depends on the price you'll pay. So to join, some of them do have joining fees, so you may need to pay. I think when I first joined My Deposits, it was probably about 250 pounds because I wanted to keep the funds in my own bank account. Now I've since switched, so I use I think it's called their custodial scheme. So I send all the deposit money to them. All of that is free for me to use. So it depends, again, which you prefer and how you prefer to run your business. So you might have no costs or you might have up to kind of 250 pounds for your deposit membership. Another great thing to do is have a website. Oh, now this is, again, where your budget, so it's not a must do. So we've kind of covered you must have insurance, you must join a redress scheme, you must join the ICO, you must have insurance. Now we're getting into kind of where you've got a little bit of leeway here onto what you do. So this is like your advertising and marketing budget, really. I recommend you have a website. Again, on my website, I do rent-to-rent template websites at jadeconnect.co.uk. Those are around 200 pounds for a website. You can get a bespoke website designer and you would pay anything from 100 pounds up to thousands and thousands of pounds. So it's, again, check your budget, see what you can afford and what really works for you. A professional email address. Again, this can be something you'll have to buy your domain name. That's probably going to be a tenner. Having maybe Google for Business set up. So I pay, I think, £4 a month or something like that per email address. I've got registered with Google. But again, now I've got that professional Jacquie@Jade email address. So it's not Jacquie@Gmail. It just looks professional. It's my business name. You will want a local phone number. So I'd say, again, you're looking at probably £10 a year plus a monthly fee for however many phone calls you get. So the more phone calls you get, the little bit higher that monthly fee will be for all the incoming calls. I'm just looking, I think those NLA or RLA membership, again, these are optional. I do recommend belonging to one of them because they've both got great resources online where you can download, tenancy agreements, loads of information on how to start and how to end a tenancy. They've got a helpline. So again, those are generally around £100 per year to join as just a single member for either one of those. And then those are the main ones that I've got. You'll want a spare room membership. Again, this depends on how much you want to pay. So you can pay something like £10 for a one-off ad that you can run, or I pay like £80 a month or something like that. So I can run up to 15 ads at a time, and I get quite a few boosts and extra freebies in there. But we've got loads and loads of rooms all the time, so that works for us. You can do newspaper ads, networking meetings, online advertising. Kind of the sky's the limit once you really get into advertising, which is why I really, really recommend that you set up a budget ahead of time, because it's super easy to like blow through loads and loads of money when you're just getting started, because you want to get out and do as much as possible. But then all of a sudden you haven't got the money ready to kind of set up your first rent to rent. So make sure that you've set up a budget. If you haven't already got it, get my business booster emails. You can sign up for it at renttorentacademy.co.uk. They're free. You'll get to download the budget spreadsheet, and you can start filling in that information. David's asked, can we wait until we get a deal before we sign up to a scheme? For the deposits, you can. For lots of these things, you can wait till you get a deal before you sign up for them. Things like the redress scheme, I think it's quite good to sign up ahead of time. I'd say for the ICO, if you're sending out landlord letters, you should sign up with register with the ICO for data protection purposes, because you are storing those landlords, addresses and personal information, somewhere. So you should be registered with the ICO beforehand. But lots of them, the deposits, you can wait until you've actually got a tenant's deposit. Now, some of the schemes can take a little while to get all signed up for and get all the paperwork done and dusted for. So it's worth having a look and seeing what you can do ahead of time, because you don't want to get a tenant's deposit and then it all of a sudden takes you longer than 30 days to sign up for the scheme, and you haven't registered the tenant's deposit correctly, and it's just a big mess from there. So have a look at all of these things and see how long it might take, what you need to do ahead of time, and what you can wait till later. So most things you can wait till you get that first deal, but some of them it's good to leverage off of it. And I always think, start this business as you mean to go on. You're being serious about it. You're going to make it work. So and you're going to have to spend these costs at some point. So you might as well do it now. Show kind of the universe that you're serious about this. This is a business that you're really into. You're running it. This is what you plan on doing. You're going to make success out of it. Get all your systems set up from the beginning so that you're ready to go. That's how I like to think of it. So, but again, make sure you've got the budget for it. Just start doing some research on these things so that you've got some ideas of how much they're going to cost, where that money is going to come from. So maybe it's something that you do have to set aside monthly funds from, your normal 9-to-5 job to cover everything for it. So make sure that you're just looking through these, you're being aware of what's out there, what you're going to have to cover the costs of, and figure out where that's going to come from. So where is that money coming from? How are you going to fund it? And when are you going to be able to do it? Oh, hello. So that is it. So again, grab my business booster emails if you're not already, and most of you are. So renttorentacademy.co.uk. There's a funny little picture of me with my Santa hat on the homepage where you can sign up for the emails. You can get all the back emails whenever you've signed up. So there's a great kind of events page. We've got another 12 days of emails coming out, and then I'm just going to be working on something super special for Christmas through to the new year. So keep an eye out for that so that you can make sure you get signed up. I'm going to have a great free video series that's going to really kick you off for 2019. So that is it for me for today. I am going to go have a nap on my brand new bed, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much.